I was just another student trying to graduate high school. Until the day she walked into my life. They say a teacher's job is to guide her students. Miss Clara guided me more than anyone ever did. She saw things in me that no one else bothered to look for, things I didn't even know were there. She made me feel seen. But one night, a night the world will never quite understand, we crossed a line we could never take back. A line that changed everything. It started like any other school year, you know? New classes, same old boring hallways. But then Miss Clara walked into our English class. She was new, young, only 27, and wore these simple, elegant dresses that made her look like she belonged in a painting. The whole room went quiet, then a bunch of whispers broke out. "Dude, she's hot," someone mumbled. "Seriously, best new teacher ever." My best friend, Ryan, nudged me hard. He always knew how to get under my skin. "Bet you'll write her name all over your notebook by next week, Daniel," he whispered with a smirk, knowing I was the quiet, artsy type who actually liked writing. I just rolled my eyes, but a weird warmth spread through me. Like, yeah, maybe I would. Maybe I already was, in my head. Miss Clara didn't just stand there. She moved, she glowed. She put her hands on her hips, a small smile on her face, and started talking about literature. Not like a textbook, but like it was a living, breathing thing. Like books held secrets, and she was going to help us unlock them. Her eyes, so bright and full of fire, swept across the room. And for just a second that felt like a whole hour, they locked with mine. My breath hitched. It was like she wasn't just talking to the class, but directly to me, telling me something powerful, something I couldn't explain but felt deep down in my bones. It was like a magnet, a pull, and from that moment, I knew my senior year was going to be anything but normal. That was it. I was in trouble. Big trouble. Miss Clara wasn't like other teachers. She actually read our work. Not just skimmed it for grammar mistakes, but she read it. She saw something in my essays, something she called a raw, honest voice. She said I had a gift, and no one, not my dad who wanted me to just focus on math, not anyone, had ever said that to me before. It felt like she saw my soul on the page. One day, after class, she asked me to stay. My heart thumped like a drum. "Daniel," she said, her voice soft but firm, "your writing is really special. I think you could get a scholarship for this. I'd like to offer you some extra lessons, after school, to polish your essay for the university application. Only if you're interested, of course." I pretty much tripped over my own feet saying yes. Was I interested? It felt like the answer to a prayer I didn't even know I'd made. So, it began. Almost every other day, I'd stay late. The school would get emptier, the hallways quiet, and it would just be me and her in the classroom. She'd sit beside me, her light perfume a gentle cloud around us, and help me find the right words. Sometimes, my hand would falter, and she'd gently place her fingers over mine, guiding my pen, and a jolt would shoot through me. My skin would prickle, and I'd try to act normal, try to breathe. It was stupid, I know. She was my teacher. I was 18. But it felt so intense. There were so many little moments, you know? Like for the school's literature night, I had to read an excerpt from my own story. My tie was all crooked, and before I could fix it, she just leaned in, her fingers brushing my throat, and straightened it. "There," she whispered, her eyes sparkling, "perfect." I felt my face burn, hot and red, and I just mumbled a thank you. I couldn't look directly at her. Or the time we were trying to find an old book in the dusty storage room, and a spider dropped from the ceiling. I yelped, a totally embarrassing sound, and she just burst out laughing, a proper, joyous laugh, not the polite one she used in front of other teachers. I laughed too, real and loud, and in that moment, it felt like we were the only two people in the world, sharing some secret, silly joke. Every accidental touch, every shared glance, every time she praised my writing, it wasn't just my heart that raced. It was like an electric current running through my veins. I knew it was wrong, I knew I shouldn't feel this way, but it was like gravity. I was just drawn to her. Ryan, my best friend, started noticing too. He wasn't stupid. "Bro, people are starting to notice you stay late with her," he said one afternoon, leaning against my locker, his voice low. "Sophie, especially. She's got her beady eyes everywhere. This could get ugly, man. Like, really ugly." I just shrugged, trying to act cool. "She's just helping me with my scholarship essay, Ryan. That's all. She believes in my writing." I tried to sound convincing, but even to my own ears, it felt thin. A lie. Because it was more than that. So much more. Then came that night. The night that changed everything. It was pouring rain, one of those heavy, angry storms where the sky just opens up. We were in the classroom, the whole school silent around us, save for the drumming rain on the windows. We were working on my scholarship essay, making it perfect. The words flowed, better than ever, with her beside me. Suddenly, the lights flickered, then died. Darkness. For a second, we just sat there in the sudden quiet. Miss Clara fumbled for her phone, its light cutting through the gloom, then she lit a small candle she kept in her desk drawer. The flame danced, casting long, wavering shadows across the walls. The room, usually so bright and open, suddenly felt small, warm, intimate. Like a secret fort. She leaned back in her chair, the candlelight making her hair glow, her face softer than I'd ever seen it. "Sometimes," she began, her voice barely a whisper, "sometimes I feel like no one really sees me, Daniel. Like I'm just a teacher and nothing more. Like my own dreams, my own struggles, they don't matter because I'm supposed to be this perfect, strong person for everyone else." Her eyes, usually so confident, looked a little lost. A pang went through my chest. I shifted in my seat, feeling a huge rush of emotion. All the words I'd ever written, all the feelings I'd poured onto paper, seemed to gather in my throat. I couldn't hold them back. "I see you, Miss Clara," I said, my voice thick, barely a whisper. "I do. You've done more for me than anyone ever has. You made me believe in myself. You're everything." Her eyes, wet and shining in the candlelight, met mine. There was a flicker of something in them, surprise, sadness, maybe even something else I couldn't name. Conflict. She looked at me, really looked at me, like she was seeing me for the first time, not just as a student, but as a boy, a person. My heart was pounding so hard I thought she must hear it. I didn't know what I was doing, but my hand just moved, slow and shaky, and I softly cupped her face. Her skin was warm, soft beneath my fingertips. She didn't flinch away. She didn't move. Her breath hitched. "Daniel," she whispered, her voice a fragile protest, barely audible. "We shouldn't." But she didn't pull away. She leaned into my touch, just a tiny bit. And in that moment, all the unspoken feelings, all the glances and touches, all the words we hadn't said, erupted. I leaned in, slow, like I was moving through thick water. Her eyes fluttered closed. Our lips met. It was brief, tender, and slow. Like a question, a plea, a promise. It lasted only a second, maybe two, but it felt like forever. A whole lifetime squeezed into that one, impossible kiss. Then, she broke it. Her eyes snapped open, wide and panicked. She pulled back sharply, her hands coming up to cover her mouth, her body trembling. "Oh, no," she breathed, her voice cracking. "This was a mistake. Daniel, we can't, we shouldn't." The words hit me like a physical blow. The warmth in the room suddenly turned cold. Heartbreak, sharp and sudden, pierced through me. I just stared at her, my hand still hanging in the air where her face had been, feeling foolish, rejected, devastated. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe. I stood up, pushing my chair back with a scrape. Without another word, without looking back, I stumbled out of the classroom, out of the silent school, and into the pouring, freezing rain. The drops felt like tears on my face, mixing with my own. I just ran, blindly, the cold washing over me, washing away the warmth of that single, forbidden touch. My world had just shattered. What I didn't know was that as I walked out, heartbroken and tear-streaked, my shoulders shaking from the cold and the pain, Sophie had been there. Hiding under the school's awning, probably waiting for the rain to stop. She'd seen me. She'd seen how broken I looked. And her mind, always quick to twist things, had already jumped to the worst possible conclusion. Morning came, brutal and bright, after a sleepless night. The rain was gone, but a different storm had started. Whispers. They were everywhere. In the hallways, in the cafeteria, even outside classrooms. Little bits of poison, spreading fast. Did you hear? Miss Clara and Daniel were alone in the classroom for hours last night. And it was pouring rain. No one else was there. I heard they kissed, or maybe more. Sophie saw him leaving, looking all messed up. That's why she always stayed late with him. I knew it. Daniel's the reason she stayed late every day. The rumors grew teeth, gnawing at everything good. I tried to ignore it, to pretend it wasn't real, but the way people looked at me, the way they avoided Miss Clara's eyes, it was undeniable. Ryan finally found me in the back of the gym, slamming a locker door shut. He looked furious, hurt. Daniel, tell me, he practically spat out, tell me it's not true. Tell me you didn't ruin her life. I looked at him, my best friend, and I felt a fresh wave of pain. How could I explain? How could I tell him about the candle, the quiet, the feeling? You don't understand, Ryan. I shouted back, my voice cracking. You don't understand anything. She means everything to me. He just stared at me, his eyes wide, then he shook his head, disgust clear on his face. Unbelievable, he mumbled, and then he stormed out, leaving me alone with the echoing rumors and my own shattering heart. It didn't take long for the principal, Mr. Howard, to get wind of it. He was old-fashioned, strict, and hated scandals more than anything. I saw Miss Clara being called into his office. Later, I heard his voice from the hallway, cold and sharp. Miss Clara, he'd said, whether the rumors are true or not doesn't matter. The damage is done. Your reputation, the school's reputation, it's all tainted. I didn't hear her reply, but I imagined her fighting back tears, trying to keep her composure. She wouldn't deny anything, I thought. She would protect me, even at her own expense. When I got home, my own father was waiting. He'd heard too, probably from some neighbor. He was controlling, critical, always wanting me to focus only on academics, on my future. He was red-faced, veins popping in his neck. Do you want to destroy your future over some teacher, Daniel? He yelled, slamming his hand on the table. Do you realize what this could do to your scholarship chances? To your college applications? Tears streamed down my face. I couldn't stop them. She's the reason I have a future. I screamed back, suddenly finding my voice, my fury. She's the only one who ever saw it. But it was too late. The damage was done. A few days later, a notice came out. Miss Clara had resigned. Quietly. No fanfare, no goodbyes. She just vanished. But before she left, I found a sealed letter tucked into my locker. No name outside, just Daniel. My hands shook as I took it, knowing it was from her. I couldn't bring myself to open it then. I just clutched it, hot and heavy, to my chest. Graduation day. It felt surreal. I'd made it. Despite everything, Despite the whispers that still followed me sometimes, I'd gotten the scholarship. The one she'd helped me with. My name was called, and I walked up to the stage, the setting sun warm on my face. I gave a speech, words Miss Clara had helped me find. Real words, from my heart. Some stories are real, I said, my voice shaky at first, then growing stronger as I looked out at the faces. Some are just rumors. Some are twisted truths, half-truths. But maybe the truth isn't what matters in the end. I took a deep breath. Maybe what truly matters is what we choose to learn from it. How we grow from the hard times, how we find our own voice. After the ceremony, surrounded by my family, who were still a bit stiff around me after the scandal, I found a quiet corner. My hand went to my pocket, and I pulled out her letter. The sealed envelope, heavy with unsaid things. I tore it open, my fingers trembling. Inside was a short, heartbreaking message, written in her elegant hand. Daniel. I will always be proud of you. Never forget that. Some feelings can only exist in silence, in the quiet corners of our hearts. Live your dream, for both of us. My vision blurred. A tear dropped onto the paper, blurring her neat handwriting. Live your dream, for both of us. It was a goodbye. A confirmation. A quiet, painful love. As I walked home, the setting sun painting the sky in fiery colors, the letter clutched in my hand, I saw her. Across the street, by the old oak tree near the park. Miss Clara. She was wearing a simple blue dress, her hair down. She was watching me. Her eyes, filled with unshed tears, met mine. One final, silent glance that spoke volumes. A lifetime of unspoken words, of what-ifs, of regret, of understanding. All in that one look. My heart ached, a sweet, painful throb. I wanted to run to her, to cross the street, to say something, anything. But before I could even take a step, she turned. Like a ghost, she vanished into the crowd, leaving me standing there, alone on the pavement, with a scholarship and a broken, hopeful heart. People still talk about that rainy night. Some swear they know what happened, whispering their versions, their twisted rumors. Some say she ruined her career for me. Some say I was just a kid, foolish and naive. But only she and I know the truth. The real, complicated, messy truth of that night. And that's how it will stay. A secret shared between two souls, etched forever in the silence. I hope you like the story. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel for my emotional and interesting stories. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.